Hello! I am VoiceOver AU, also known as Kevin Powell, and I am here because I love to stream games and I love to talk about the world around games and explore them with you folks. We've been having some amazing discussions about the nature of horror and mythos on Wednesday nights in our horror show. And here, tonight, we're here for Friday Night Fallout. That is what is on the menu. So we're talking about all of the things that wrap in the world around. Let's get that lovely music going while we're chatting too. There we go. So we're talking about all of the things that wrap around the world of Fallout. That's golden age optimism, placing our faith in science as the thing that's going to save us. It's 1950s consumerism and the birth of hyper-capitalism and an entirely new form of advertising. It's the threat of annihilation at a species level thanks to the introduction of technology like the bomb, nuclear annihilation, and the effect that it can have sits over everything in Fallout. The idea, basically, the constant fear of annihilation. And then what happens when we build ourselves back up? We create these societies filled with these gonzo, larger-than-life characters, which harkens back to amazing 80s films like Cherry 2000. If you've ever seen it, I cannot recommend it enough. It is insane. And then you've got, the go-to classics like Mad Max, like Escape from New York. All of this is put in a blender, and that's the beautiful blend. That's the beautiful melange we get with Fallout. Especially when I bump my microphone. Just so classy. So that's what we're here for tonight. Now, before we get started, I wanted to say a very quick thank you to those of you who share your audiences with me. So thank you so much to those of you who auto-host this channel. So a huge thank you to Even Prime TV, to Everything Apocalypse, to Slayer Lover Gaming, to Dubsack, to Ironside. You people are amazing. I cannot thank you enough for that. Thank you for those of you who come and spend your time with me on a Friday night. I really appreciate that. Now, let's kill our sound for just a second again, because I just want to get over to... Just pop us over to the dashboard, and then we'll get that beautiful Fallout sound back in there. A little bit of a late start this evening. A little bit of a late start. It's been a bit of a sluggish rest of the afternoon. Spent Fridays looking after my daughter, and we had a nap this afternoon, and that's kind of killed my momentum. I actually had a wonderful hour getting ready for the stream, but as always, just overestimated the amount, like what needed to get done in the amount of time that I had, and so it was a little bit later than usual getting started. So thank you so much for your patience, everyone. All right, our levels are looking good. Our audio's looking good. I reckon we're going to get started. So where are we? Well, we're getting down into the bottom of Vault 15 because we've gone to NCR and we've taken this job from Tandy, who is now the governor of the NCR. She is, in as much as anyone is in charge of the NCR, she is responsible for governing it. Tandy, who we met in Fallout 1 as a plucky, unassuming girl and rescued from the Raiders as the Vault Dweller. I'm starting to get my individual terms per game a little bit confused. We're the Chosen One now. We were the Vault Dweller in Fallout 1. So speaking of pop culture surrounding Fallout, I'm going to put a post together on our blog on the weekend, the blog that goes along with our content, and pop a note in Discord about this as well. But I listened to a really interesting podcast during the week. I tell you what, fam, it's been a goddamn week over this side of the fence. Like, it's been full. And it's been a lot of big conversations, but so at a point when I was relatively emotionally fragile, I made the mistake of listening to a podcast, a really well put together one, that was about the Fermi paradox. Because man, there are a few things that not terrify me, but just sadden me as much as the idea that
a kind gesture.
Thank you so much for the cheers, Even Soft. Very much appreciated. But yeah, there are very few things that sadden me as much as the idea that we could be the only time in all of the infinite span of the universe that the right combination of circumstances has come together to create life, and we're perched on the edge of fucking it up. I mean, just think about that. Then all of it, the infinite span, like a volume of space beyond, like, what certainly I can comprehend, just goes dark. Because, there's All of this amazing celestial machinery continues to whir, and there's no one there to appreciate it, no one there to take advantage of it. You don't believe in the Fermi paradox. Have we had this conversation before? I don't think we have, because last time we were talking about... what was the theory we were talking about? It was simulation theory. So why don't we believe in the Fermi paradox? Take me through this. For those of you who haven't had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman before, Zevensoft is a wonderfully genial and very smart person, far smarter than me. And this is why I love being here. This is why I love being here, because we get conversations where you folks can take me through. You folks can take me through understanding things that are beyond my ken. Okay, so Corvids are going to be the next. But the Fermi paradox, as I understand it, like humans aren't special in the sense that it's not so much that we're special in the sense that there's something unique about us as life forms, but you're just bullshitting. No, you're not. You're not. But as I understand it, the Fermi paradox is all about the idea that life just hasn't occurred anywhere else in the universe. Like, I'm with you, man. Like, Corvids are the best. Like, you know, I'm with the Corvids 100%. But like, if we fuck up the biosphere, do you think crows and magpies and whatnot would be able to survive? Like, that's the first one. Second of all, yeah, isn't it mostly about like what's happening on other planets? All right, so about life being a violation of entropy. Oh, interesting. Hey, son, how you doing? Thank you for coming and joining me on your Friday morning. So yeah, we're blasting our way down to the bottom of Vault 15. So we just got through the entryway before. We've got these 2 grenades. Now, I'm not going to waste these grenades this time because I used them last time getting further in, and when I dropped down to a lower level, once I got in the vault, remember there was a group of probably about 15, 20 people. So those 2 grenades are going to stay with me for the moment. Well, just be careful there with language, son, because while the idea may be nonsense to you, like if there's an article exploring it, it's an interesting question. So maybe just pump the brakes a little bit on. Maybe pump the brakes a little bit on the language there. Life-sustaining planets not being closed systems in the sense that things will intrude upon them, like you mean asteroids, that sort of thing? No stress, just trying to set a tone. Like, I know where you're coming from, but... I'm just going to listen with interest here and shoot folks while you 2 talk for the moment. Hey, Doc. How you doing? We've talked to this gent before. Let's get the heals. Get the mad heals. Let's talk to you again. Ask you some questions. Do you work for Darian? We'll save after this so we don't have to go through this stretch again. Yeah, that was the second episode. That was the second episode of the podcast series, actually, Zerman. It was talking about the Great Filter, as from a very high level perspective. Yeah, not even just visited some, but why hasn't there been some proof out there in some detectable fashion of some sort of intelligent, organized, ideally spacefaring life? Yeah, but Zevin, even with our abilities, like as I understand it, like with our scientific abilities as they are now, like sure, we haven't vomited stuff out into space far enough for folks maybe to get interested in us. But we've got ways of being able to limit it, to our capacity, but we've got ways of being able to sort of have a look around. And it looks like there's an awful lot of of empty parking spaces. All right, what would you like to know? Can you leave here if you want? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How'd you come to be here in the first place? You were kidnapped. Yeah, we've had that conversation before. The weak are often the prey of the strong. Alright. That's about everything. Let's save at that point. Well, let's reframe it a different way, Evan. It's not so much about humans being special. It's about, let's say it's about the conditions for complex life. Everything that's happening on this planet, like sure, Corvids could take over or whatever, but everything that's happening on this on this planet, like visible, detectable life in whatever form, like a functioning verdant biosphere, or over like planet overall with all of this complex life. Like why can't we see signs of that somewhere else? Hey Citrus, how you doing? Thanks for dropping in the lurk. Very much appreciated. We're talking about the big stuff. Are we alone or not in the universe? But isn't there a function of entropy? Like, I can kind of get where Sun's going from there, Zevensoft. So I'd really interested in hearing what you've got to say here, because isn't part of entropy being about the fact as well that the idea of trying to form like the complex building blocks of life, like DNA, the amount of order and structure that requires is kind of improbable because chaos interferes, because basically, you need a whole lot of things to come together in an ordered fashion. Like, it's super easy for us to create life now, understanding the rules of it, but for it to come from dead matter to some form of life, isn't that where entropy comes into play? So when you say entropy is more about how hard it is to destroy life, do you mean in the sense of the fact that, we're going back to like Dr. Ian, like the amazing Jeff Goldblum performance in Jurassic Park, and life finds a way? Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one, son. Like, that's what I understood, like, entropy to be the big problem for, that it's kind of like herding, like, even below a molecular level, like you're trying to herd cats. Or you're waiting basically for the million monkeys to create Shakespeare. This incredible coincidence of events to actually have like complex life. Because the podcast was saying it was like several billion years that we had several billion years of simple-celled organisms before basically, like it framed it as I think it was 100 million years or something like that. But it was a really short time frame. I think it was 100 million from memory. was like 100 million years where we went from single-celled organisms to complex life on the Earth, compared to like billions of years of just single cells chilling out in the ocean going. Occasionally, I can hear my partner outside tucking into the opening of Breath of the Wild. She's just started playing on the Switch. It's delightful. She's a much bigger Zelda fan than me. She actually she told me a story once. I'm going to steal one of her stories. Don't tell her. But she stayed in a relationship so that she could finish. I think it was Mayorka's Mask. What is life? Baby, don't hurt me. What is life? Nobel laureate that life, contrary to the general tendency dictated by the decreases or maintains its entropy. Hang on. Decreases or maintains its entropy by feeding on negative entropy. Can you unpack that a little bit, Zevin? Because that's going over my head there. And this is why I find this stuff. This is why I love listening to folks like you people talk about this stuff. Because I learn. In the meantime, I'm going to shoot some folks in the head. Yeah, you lie down. I'll go get help. So life creates order. Huh. Interesting. That feels non-intuitive. Like, I guess that's part of why it would have been an interesting paper, I guess. Like, it feels like... Because it feels like the universe in general is kind of working against the idea of something complex flourishing rather than supporting it. But I don't have anything to back that up. Sweet Jesus! Can we go into a room? Will that help? Because there's an awful lot of folks that are about to come in. Alright, let's let these people... Well, evolution's about... Isn't that a misnomer, though, Zevin? I thought with evolution, and maybe I'm splitting hairs here, but isn't it about survival of the fittest for a biological niche? I didn't want to do that. Hey, everyone. Now, I'm going to assume those folks over there don't actually have guns. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of... And that was part of what they were going into, and this is why I find this fascinating, and this is why, again, like, I love talking to people smarter than myself, because one of the points that they were making is that the point in time that, like, once life on Earth went from single-celled organisms, simple, to complex single-celled organisms, and then, here's the magic ingredient, Barry White music starts playing and simple single-celled organisms start fucking. That's when you start getting basically the idea of evolution and throwing in random mutations. You get sort of combinations of things to then sort of get a spicier mix overall of life, and then you start getting sort of the, like, fits for biological niches. Well, that's interesting. So the term, I guess I'm assuming you're referring to there, son, you're referring to entropy itself. So null state of entropy, I guess, just being sort of raw, unordered nothing. So the more likely it is to fall apart. Yeah, that kind of makes sense to me, but again, like, I've got nothing concrete to tie that back to sort of the evolution of life. It just feels like sort of the way the world works, which is not a very scientific answer. Hey there. I hit myself. That's not good. It's not good at all. Know of no method or mechanism that would suggest that negative entropy is applicable. Oh, that was not good. I hit myself again. We got a death coming up here. Oh, good side. Life somehow has the ability to make itself grow. I wasted my grenades. I regret my life choices. I think that's the pleasant option there, Zevin. Like, that would be wonderful if it's true. Oh, hey, I don't have any healing either. Whoops. Whoopsies. Well, this ends poorly. Oh, actually, I do have a dead guard there that I can loot. Ah, 2 stim packs. A grenade. See, this is how this is the only way this fight works. Whoopsies. Another interesting idea that unsurprisingly came out of the Cold War climate is the idea that intelligent life destroys itself. Ah, see, there we are! This is, yes, absolutely. Like, that ties just so coherently back to, like, why we're here, folks. Bringing it back on point. Oh, shit, I forgot I can do bursts with this, too. Oh. This could be it. It is. Wah, wah.
You have died. Your village is lost, doomed to die of starvation.
Well, see, this is the interesting thing, Zevin. As I understand it, like, there's the Great Filter basically is an unknown, and there's 2 possible propositions here for that. I'm just going to set up my kill counter because it's not running yet. 37. Hot damn! This has been going horribly. So I've seen 2 horribly, by which I mean awesome. Like, I'm having a whale of a time digging down through this place. All right, so that is got a death for me. No, you don't need. There we go. 38 deaths. So yeah, I've seen two propositions for what the Great Filter is, and it seems to me that it's kind of a big unknown for folks. It's kind of a god in the gaps at the moment, or, like, you know, kind of a, well, let's just see how this works from a theoretical point of view. Either the Great Filter is basically the magical leap between no organic matter or no life on a planet and complex life that we can see, that we can detect in some way, that we can interact with. Or it's something in our future, which is, you know, this takes it back to, like, you know, why we're here, celebrating basically post-apocalyptic fiction. It's the idea that we get complex enough that we find wonderful, efficient ways to just fuck us up on a planet-wide level. Didn't stick the landing there. On a planet-wide level. There we go. Yeah, son, that's definitely one version of it I've heard. I've also heard the idea that that it's also basically some inhibitor back in our past that stopped us from getting to this point, and that's why there's nothing else out there. And see, this is where my brain starts, like, it's funny, it gets me in the brain and the heart at the same time, because it strains my brain to think of the idea that there is basically like a combination of circumstances that we've just fluked into in all of everything else that's out there in this amazing, like, infinitude that is the universe. This is the one place where it's happened. Like, there's something about that just gets to me. Like, it feels like we're sort of setting ourselves up to be special, even though we're just a byproduct of the environmental circumstances. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I guess when I say there's two versions of it I've heard, there's the podcast I was listening to was positing it as two potential kinds of theory. Either we've passed it, or it's been in our past, potentially. But yeah, exactly. Like, something basically that is a threshold that stops people from getting out there. No, absolutely. Well, Jesus Christ, I mean, what are we all talking about at the moment? We're talking about, well, not here, I mean, sorry, on a species level, apart from talking about, like, what's happening politically, like, the thing basically that's in the news is that we're hitting the possibility of environmental collapse. Now, I'm going to use these 4 action points to loot her now, because she has the good stuff. And I'll hold off on using those, do I have weight limit for that? No, I don't. I'm at weight capacity. I'll hold off on using those grenades, because I don't think I got full effect from them last time. Alright, that wasn't a bad round. Solid opener. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about the possibility of turning Earth into like a runaway greenhouse gas, like, vicious cycle to end up something like Venus. Like, that's one option that's out there. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. As a rule to intelligent species or complex life. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that page there. But wait, hang on. I'll say that again in English. What you were saying there, son, about the filter, that's my understanding as well. That, like, it's an unknown factor. It's kind of a thing that we apply to go, we're missing something in the math here, so Greek filter. Alright, let's wander over here. See, I love you folks for these kinds of conversations. Like, this really is a highlight of my week. Getting to hang out with you all and listen to you chat. Alright, it feels like now we're in grenade territory. You're in grenade country. There's only 3 people there. I'll tell you what. Let's play doors and corners. That's a terrifying thought. To the point of collapse. Do you mean overpopulation, son? Like depletion of resources throughout the galaxy? Yeah, that's a sobering thought.
Alright, come on in, everyone. Just form a nice fire cone. That's it. Everyone get cozy. Big circle. Say cheese. Going to throw a fucking grenade at you. Just enjoy it.
That was not my finest hour.
One person. I can see. Enjoyed that? Alright.
I'll just get back up here so I don't eat up my room. Oh, see, this feels doable. You punch me all the live long. Oh, I spoke too soon there. Oh, now I'm encircled. Now it's bad. Oh, that was not good.
You have died. Your quest to find the Garden of Eden and return it to your village has failed.
Oh wow, that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome, Zevin. Report back from the front lines. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Alright. Let's try this on. Because you... Yeah, that's right. These bursts just don't really do... They're not really doing it. Not really doing it. Yeah, I find it depressing too, son. I really do. And that's why I was saying, like, it was a gross miscalculation on my part to listen to a podcast about this when my heart was already feeling just a little bit overfull. Not in a bad way, but it's been a week. Oh, okay. So physics of the impossible, Zevin, goes through sort of talking about reason, like enumerating reasons why we might be alone in the galaxy or alone in the universe. Oh, that was a terrible throw. That was the literal worst. Okay. Alright, let's see if I can redeem myself. Because the great thing about throwing grenades is when I almost feel like I need to apologize for interspersing into the awesome conversation that's happening about the game. But let's see if... Because the great thing about throwing grenades is when I do that, everyone panics and goes to heal, which buys me time. See, this feels like a puzzle I really need to be... No, don't... Hey, Damien Wise, how you doing? Don't apologize for anything. that was kind of what I was getting at from a self-deprecating perspective. There shouldn't be any apologizing here, because the conversation's amazing. I mean, this is why I play these kind of games. That's why I encourage this kind of conversation. Or why, I encourage this kind of community. It's because this is the stuff that I love about it. Like, this game is great. Fallout's game is great. The story, apart from the extra levels of thirst that you will... Thank you! See, okay, so they do switch to firearms, and then that's going to make things very much trickier. But yeah, like, the game's great. But these conversations around the edges of it, like, that's what really sets me on fire. Like, that's what I love. Never heard of the Drake equation before, Damien Wise. I'll check that out. Post stream. Thank you very much for posting. Oh, can I get to that? No, I can't get there. I really need to keep that headshot consistent getting out the door, because that's where I get my grenades. Oh, hot diggity. I like the way you work it. Yo, diggity.
Like the way you work it.
Yeah, Zevin, like, yeah, when you say, Zevin, that we're maybe just not communicating in the same language, or we're not seeing each other because we kind of occupy different sort of areas of reality, that starts, yeah, it starts bridging into, it feels like a more hopeful area. I feel like I'm getting close to a way to approaching this, because if I had my 2 stim packs before and that extra grenade, I'd be doing a lot better. Yeah, because we may be on the same page about this, but here's the thing that really gets me about that paradox. Like, it's not so much human exceptionalism. I mean, there is a part of, like, species tribalism, the idea that when the lights go out on all of this, the idea that no one will ever read Aristotle or Plato, no one will ever read, like, an amazing piece of poetry that just sets your heart on fire, that's come from our thousands of years of culture. There's that. But it's also just the thought of all of that stuff pinwheeling out there with no one really to, like, in service of no one. Just, it's like a vast machine, like an incredible orrery that it just has no one to appreciate it at that point in time. Alright, can I get out of here? I don't think I can. I think I'm boxed in again. So, let's have a chat with you. Or you, because if I knock you over, I can get to a corpse and raid it. Sweet Christmas! I'm not going to jinx myself, but I'm seeing the possibilities here. Like, surviving round to round is tough. Alright, where's that corpse?
Show me the corpse.
Intelligent superorganisms. Huh. It's interesting, Seven. Son, with regards to the idea of populating the galaxy, there's one interesting theory I've run into there. It's almost a thought experiment, but it's the idea of berserker drones. Like, the podcast I was listening to talked about how simple things like cosmic dust can just really give you a bad day if you are traveling through space. And so the minute that a species or a planet like latches onto the idea of, oh hey, what if someone out there has seeded the entire galaxy with berserker drones that are just waiting for someone to start moving? The minute you have that thought, you then decide, no, we're good. We'll just stay here. We'll just stay on this planet. We've got our stuff sorted out. We're just going to sit and wait. Like, it's an interesting idea. Hello, Capdaf. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to have your company. We're having some very in-depth and amazing conversations. There's a bunch of smart minds, and there's me. Superorganisms, but in a different way. Paperclip Simulator. What's Paperclip Simulator? Please explain.
A steadfast supporter.
Thank you very much for the follow as well, Capdaf. Very much appreciated. I know my strengths. I'm sorry, I'm not being self-deprecating. Starts with making paperclips and ends with destroying the universe. Are they self-replicating? Are they self-replicating paperclips? Like, is that where it goes wrong? It looks like you're trying to populate the universe. Would you like a hand with that? Huh, interesting. I'll stop being self-deprecating, too. It was a roundabout way of trying to express appreciation for the wonderful conversations that you folks bring to the table. But I take your point. Ah, I should have put that grenade in. I should have put that grenade in the inventory. I'm going to pay for that mistake. I'm going to pay for it in blood. Alright, let's do it now. Power Fist. For those nights when a regular fist just won't do the job. Repli paperclips. Education. Oh, okay, about exponential growth. Oh, that sounds interesting. Now, son, did you get a chance to sort of elucidate on what you mean about superorganisms in a different way? Because that'd be interesting to hear. See, I've never heard of the Methuselah principle. Principle. The Methuselah principle. Yeah, you run away. You run away. Alright, if I can survive this round, which is by no means a given. Oh, she's coming and blocked me off from that corpse. I need that corpse. Son of a... Alright. Hey there, you. How long did that one sitting take, Damien? In order to smash the game out? Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you stay there. I'll go get help. No? It's not going to let me move forward. Someone's still blocking my path. Alright. Touch and go, folks. Oh, okay. Fair enough, son. Oh, so Capdaf, you started with Fallout 2. That's interesting. Have you played through the rest of the series? Are you playing through 76 at the moment? Tell us more about your lineage with Fallout. Oh, now I can't remember. Do I have an unlooted corpse here that I can get to? I'm not sure. Can I get there? Who is blocking me from that? Who do I have to kill? Well, hang on, you just fell over. So I should be able to loot you. Ah, son of a... Wrong corpse, I've already looted that one. Not good. Not good. Just need to be able to get to that loot. Oh, I forgot that too. I can bank my I forgot about banking my action points to save armor. Yeah, finishing 4, Capta. Finishing 4, I think, is one of those things that takes some stamina. Well, stay tuned here over time, because I'm going to be playing through the entire series, like DLC and everything of Fallout. So I'm going to keep on trucking through. So if you're ever curious about the rest of everything that's going on, I might stream some 76 at some point in time as well, because I'll be picking that up soon. Did you hit a point in 3, Capt, did you hit a point in 3 where you did something that you need to sort of unscrew in order to move forward? I hate that when that happens in games. Alright, I think you're stopping me from moving, so you go next. Like that would be perfect! Is there loot? Yes! Oh, but I can't use... No! Oh, please don't kill me next round. That's worth saving just in case. Cannot save at this time. Of course I can't because I'm in the middle of a combat. Just please let me get through this round. 4 stim packs. That's like back up to full health. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that sounds pretty dire. Yes. Yeah. I'm expecting like Fallout 2 is mammoth, but I'm expecting my journey through 3 to be quite long as well. I'm really looking forward to it though. Because for the longest time, I'd only played like 1 and then just a little bit of 4. Just a little bit. So I'm actually looking forward to getting back to 4 at some point in time as well. Oh, no! Oh, okay. It was balanced on a knife edge, Damien-wise, but now motherfuckers are gonna get shot in the head. I shouldn't jinx myself, because all it's going to take is... We've seen what happens with crits in this game. All it takes is 1 burst from someone. And my head's cheddar. So I shouldn't boast. It's interesting, though. Like, it is balanced on a knife edge. Like, I was having this conversation with a few of you folks when I was playing through a part of Call of Cthulhu, which was really challenging. The combat in here... Like, this is super tough, and I could die at any moment. But the interesting thing is I always feel like there's a better way to approach what I'm doing. And that, to me, is the mark of really good design. Like, whatever the game is, are there options that you haven't used? Is there a vocabulary the game designers have given you that you're not taking advantage of? And in this, it's like, where am I placed on the map? Am I making good use of being able to control or pull the group? When am I using my grenades? All of those things come into play, and if I make smarter choices, I get rewarded if I stick it out. And admittedly, a little bit of RNG as well. Long and brown, yeah, the color palette is a very... Oh! It's okay, you lay down. You just lie down and you have a rest. See, I don't even feel the need to like go and hit my inventory at the moment for stim packs. I'm just gonna rack up those extra. I'm gonna rack up those AP for defense. I can't remember who it was who pointed that out in Fallout 1, but I completely missed that for the longest time as a valid defense strategy. You're a tough one. Oh. Yeah, Dishonored's really good with that. It's wonderful when a game rewards like smart play Hitman 2 is apparently getting some really good, speaking of which, Hitman 2 is apparently getting some really good reviews at the moment, and I'm seriously considering doing a stream of that at some point in time. I'm terrible with stealth games, but I've never played. I've never played a Hitman, but I've always sort of kept an eye on the franchise. And my lazy go-to cosplay for PAX, like when I actually have the time and the energy to cosplay, is dress up in a suit, shave my head, put on a white shirt and a red tie, and then I'm Agent 47. So it's super easy to, it's super easy to pop together for being on stream. Corpses. But yeah, Dishonored's really good with that. Like, it really allows you to be creative with how you approach the game. And that's what I hear is good about Hitman 2 as well. It's okay. You lie down. You get some rest. Oops! And I'll go get help. Man, this is turned now. This is dark. I'm stalking people room to room. I like to imagine Erika singing or whistling like Daryl Hannah in Kill Bill. Not a huge fan of Kill Bill, but I love her role in it. Whoop, whoop. Oh wow, that was dark. I'm gaining karma though. I'm gaining karma for killing these people. Yeah, how was your PAX? How was your PAX, Capdaf? Like, what did you have to... What was on your plate? Tell me about it. Tell us about your PAX. Tell us a PAX story. What, were you exhibiting? Incidentally, if I'm having a brain fart and not tying your Twitch ID to your actual, like, who you are, and we know each other in person, I apologize profusely. But I don't think we know each other in person? Tell me if that's not the case. Oh, gotcha! I know who you are now. You mean the werewolf panel? The werewolf panel. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, my apologies if I'm just mentally not making a connection. I'm assuming we haven't crossed paths before, given that you very kindly threw a follow our way. Thank you so much again for the biddies. Sevensoft as well. That cheer was lovely. It's like a false start in a western. My name's Cap Daff. You may have heard of me. No. You know, Cap Daff from Nevada way. No. Is it, I thought there was someone hiding in here. I thought we had... No? Are you oxen free? No one's around. Alright, let's turn combat mode off for now. So that's not bad. We're kind of maintaining... Wait. What? Oh, there you are. Oh man, this is dark. I'm stalking from room to room on this. Yeah, so to play a game of Guess Who, Capdaf, you are the lovely gentleman who was running the werewolf panel? Are we talking about the werewolf panel? Are we talking about the same one? Because I know that there were several panels on Friday morning. Oh! Done. kind of funny having your panel scheduled bumped up. There we go. Yep, sweet. That's, yes, we are talking about, there we go. Thank you. We are talking about the right person. Sick for a week. I feel for you. I absolutely do. I have this theory. That, fantastic. I've calibrated. You probably mentioned what your ID at some point in time, and I just forgot because I'm a numpty. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for being an enforcer too. That's such an important part of PAX. Like the reputation that, for those of you who've never been to PAX, the volunteers are referred to as enforcers, and they do amazing work throughout PAX. Helping people get what they need when they need it. 40mm pistol, 40mm ammo. Let's drop this 14mm. I don't think that's going to do us any good, and I need the weight. I need ammo for what I've got at the moment. Yeah, enforcers are the lifeblood of PAX. They are tireless in the work that they do, just to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And yeah, CapDAF organized an amazing werewolf panel, and feel for you so much, because it was scheduled concurrently with the keynote by Rhianna Pratchett. And it turns out there's the occasional fan of Rhianna Pratchett out there in the gaming community. You know, she's done some stuff. She's done a thing or two. But the crowd that you pulled for that was amazing. Like we had a pretty full room of people coming along to watch us play a game of Werewolf. It was a hell of a lot of fun too. Really good energy. So many pineapples. I have all the grenades now. And CapDAF did some amazing, like, not to steal your tricks basically and throw them out there to the public, but did some amazing faking out of people during the night section of Werewolf. Because if you've never played, Werewolf is a hidden identity game where there is one or more werewolves amongst a group of people, and you've got to try and flush them out. And there are rules around turn structure. There's a day cycle and a night cycle. The night cycle is when things happen in an ordered series while everyone's eyes are closed, and the day cycle is when basically we all get to point fingers and make hay out of the whole paranoia of who's a werewolf, who's trying to kill us. And it's so much fun. I'd never played before. And CapDAF did some amazing stuff like faking us out. Like when basically he was walking over to the person who was going to die, just doing things like stomping around and then moving backwards and forwards again. So who was it who died? It was delicious. Yeah, exactly, Damian Wise. Yeah, no big deal. You know, she'll do okay. Yeah, it would have been great to see the keynote. But the keynote though should be, I think they normally record them. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that you got sick. A lot of folks got sick post-PAX. I guess it's one of those things where if you put up a whole bunch of people in one place, then funnily enough, like, you know, you kind of rub bugs. My theory as to why I got out the other side of PAX immune was, I probably told the story before, but I ended up having to go to hospital when I was in San Francisco, actually Seattle, post GDC, and that was fun. Like I wasn't admitted to hospital, but I had to go and get x-rays and stuff because Doc was like, could be pneumonia. Let's get that seen to. It was terrifying engaging with the US medical system with travel insurance. How does this work? Let's find out. I hope I'm not going to get a bill for tens of thousands of dollars. Jesus Christ. It was terrifying. Stimpaks. So many Stimpaks. So yeah, I feel for you. A lot of folks got really sick post-PAX. Yeah, because I guess that's a lot, like, most of the dev community, like, most of the devs have been going since, like, from my side of things, like, I was going from the Saturday before. Because High School was a really amazing audio event that was organized by Otherworld Agency. And that was on Saturday of the week starting. So, like, basically the Saturday before, Saturday the week before, like, PAX's Saturday. And so everyone's so run down by the end of it that, you know, it's not surprising that people's immune systems are just shot. And so then you put everyone like in this tight space, and then you add the multitudes of people who are there basically to check out packs at the end of it all. And yeah, it's a bad combo. Yuck, yuck. Yeah, GCAP's full on. I don't know what your experience of GCAP was this year, Zevensoft, but I found that maybe it was just my choices, but it seemed like there was a lot less. It seemed like there was a lot less sort of emphasis on like late nights drinking. Maybe that was just me. Like maybe it was just not turning up to the networking night. But if that's the case, I mean that's pretty good. They did a there was an event this year that was amazing, by a wonderful couple called Tom and Jeb in Space, which was the ice cream social experiment, which was easily the highlight of my games week. It was the coolest. Stop me if I've told you folks about this too, but it was the coolest grade 5 birthday party that you never got invited to as a kid. Like unlimited ice cream, including Ben & Jerry's awesome vegan options, non-alcoholic gin and tonics, non-alcoholic beer. It was the bestest. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna head down now. Going down, Mr. Tyler. That's it's an entirely different introduction to Love in an Elevator. Slightly more ominous. Going down, Mr. Tyler. Alright, round 5. We're loaded for bear now. I've got 6 grenades and 6 stim packs. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen if I hit floor 2 before going to floor 3. So Capdaf, did you get what board games did you get a chance to play at PAX? Ah, no one's seen me yet. It's sneakity time. Sneakity sneak sneak. Bunch of chatty folks. Sneakity sneak sneak. Oh yeah, Ben & Jerry's vegan is so good. I would have taken. They were by the end of the event, like they wanted to sort of just make sure that the ice cream didn't go to waste, and so they were kind of throwing it at people. Not literally, not like literally pegging, like frozen pints of ice cream at people, but they were like, "Take a pint." I was like, I really like that ice cream, but I don't need that. I don't need to eat that much ice cream. My waistline does not need that. Now, as a quick reminder, folks, Friday night streams are positive streams. Question of the week, therefore, is, what is the best thing that has happened to you this week? Answers on the back of a postcard or in chat. I would love to hear about how your week has been. Hey, your Sneakity's not doing bad here. Hey, everyone. So I wonder where Darian would be in here. Well, that sounds scary but awesome, Zevensoft. What have you... Do you have a plan for what's next? Hey, I'm glad you came along. There's an intruder in the building. 1215 guard. Who are you? You see a Khan Raider. See, I love that they're positive too. They're Khan Raiders, not Kant Raiders. Ha ha ha! Ah, that jerk. Fantastic. Well, I'm glad that you're headed for the next chapter, Zeven. That's awesome. Gotcha. Oh, wow. What a wonderful place to be, though. Like, as long as you don't have the pressure of having to decide straight away what's next, that sounds like a fantastic place to be, just to be able to work that out. It's gorgeous. Oh, yeah, you lie down. Have a nap. I'll just take those. Cult Express, Portal. Oh, there's a board game called Portal. Interesting. Small World I've heard of, but I've never played. Speaking of combat possibilities for frozen things. Pykrete. It's an early and surprisingly simple and effective form of composite armor for some situations. Oh, interesting. So Pykrete is that the kind of armor you could bundle together, post-apocalypse wise, and get a little bit of protection out of? Because if so, that sounds awesome. And so when you say you have some pressure, Zevin, do you mean you've got like pressure, financial or otherwise, on you to find what that next step is already? Or do you mean that there's kind of stuff going on in your own head where you really want to get it sorted out? Your bones shall bleach the desert. Shall even. Shall. Hey, buddy. $10 points, man. Got some good armor going there. Oh wow, that sounds full on. But at the same time, it's exciting that you're looking for a way to resolve that, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people just kind of continue to sleepwalk. Oh wow. But presumably you don't have a struggle, you don't have that same struggle when you're doing things that you're more engaged with? I see, gotcha. So the situation you're in at the moment. Oh, okay, I see. Hence you talking about it being a possibility for frozen things. So, say for example, if you were fighting or trying to ward off the thing, it might be good. Oh, you people are just so unimpressed with my shots. This is disappointing, to say the least. I'm disappointed in you all. What is he? Oh lordy.
You have perished.
I don't know if you folks saw those numbers there, but that was 289 hit points in that critical. That feels like that should be worth 2 deaths. Wait, Zevin, are you cheering the guard? Are you cheering the guard for their critical? I feel like you're on the wrong team here. Bye! Yeah. Man, 289. I think that's actually a record. I don't think the super mutant in Fallout 1 actually got up that high. I'd have to go and check. Mega damage! It really was. This Sunday. I think I stumbled onto a rule with that stupid announcery stuff that you have on radio stations too. I think you need a consonant, not a vowel, at the start of those things. Because I keep on trying to talk about going into extra time, and it doesn't work as well. Alright. Alright, folks. It was a big old crit. Well, here's to better situations, and here's to things that you find more engaging, Zevin. Soft like that. That is nothing but exciting. Looking forward to Time extended. There you go. That sounds like a pinball machine. That's good. That's a good bark. Yeah, that's problem solved. See, this is why I come here. I come here to you folks to get my problem solved. Time extended. Yeah, that works. There you go. All right. Let's just sneak over here. It's probably not worth leading that fight with a grenade. Is it? I did not know that. Daytona! Sega! Sega! How long has it been? How long has it been that that significant an impact too? Oh, there we go. 46 points. That's chunky. That will do. Don't use my stim packs. What is he using? His melee weapon is just making a really interesting sound. Alright, now I'm going to shoot you before you decide to actually start shooting me. Although it could just be the, could just be doing that. It's going to make you decide to do that. Definitely using some kind of serious melee weapon there. Few months. That does not sound like fun. Was that a meeting discussing the issue at work? Like a performance related? Holy!
You have died. Your quest to find the Garden of Eden and return it to your village has
Gotcha.
failed.
Oh, I see. You're talking about... So that wasn't a meeting related specifically to you, but what's happening with the company. Gotcha, yeah, if the company's going in that direction as well, it sounds like it could be a good idea to leave. Oh, he spotted me. Yeah, it sounds like without wanting to go, without wanting to play armchair psychologist, are you talking to anyone about that? Have you talked with anyone about it already? I mean, like if you say Well, actually, there you go. You've answered the question. Like, perfect solution if you don't need the job. That's probably the most important data point. Don't use my stim packs. I thought I told you folks. Don't use them. They got my name on them. I'm thinking I might even try switching weapons down here too. Because it feels like... I don't know if it's armor types, but it just feels like that shotgun's just not getting through to folks. Could be RNG. Yeah, well, I suppose if you don't get that reaction, like if it's not as significant when you're doing things that you find like intellectually engaging or stimulating, I guess that tells you something. Yeah. There you go, 33 points. See, that's the kind of response I was hoping for, the kind of feedback. Gonna take a little time. A little time to shoot your shoulder. Oh, that was rude. That was rude, sport. Oh wow, that was beyond rude. They're pretty much all the same model, all with the same armor. Oh, okay. That's a good idea. If you have the ability to branch out, that's a fantastic spot to be in. Because there's definitely a lot more to life than that narrow slice of it. Yeah, but that's great. Like, because the thing I always find really mystifying is like when we're in high school, everyone's always like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And we deal with people like guidance counselors, and like half the time, a guidance counselor is someone who's gone to uni after leaving high school and has come back into the school system. And then their responsibility is to try and negotiate where it is that an individual, like a whole bunch of complex human beings, are trying to, like, should potentially end up from a career perspective. Like, I don't know how people do that. The idea of that would be terrifying. But we're supposed to have the answers. And one of the things that really opened me up to sort of to massive amounts of damage. 150 points! It's that same guy! Criticals, just chewing through me. Man, this is harsh. I'm gonna need some better armor.
Your quest to find the Garden of Eden and return it to your village has failed.
But yeah, like we're expected to... We're given signposts by people who don't, they've only lived so much life themselves, and then we're expected to have like one answer. It's meant to guide us forward, like in as much as the idea of a career even exists anymore. Which, spoilers, it doesn't really. You just got to adapt. You've got to move from like one thing to another. Oh, okay. So when you say your school had a counselor, Capdaf, do you mean like almost a spiritual counselor? Congratulations, by the way, of reaching the rank of squire. Because we had a chaplain, and we also had a guidance counselor as well. I think the weapon is it just sounds like, it could be wrong, but it sounds like it's a submachine gun. And I hear you, so when you're talking about creativity and problem solving, Zevensoft, like it sounds like you've got your finger on some things that you like and some skills that you have, because you're a smart man. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can find outlets for that. And yeah, I hear you, like one of the things I do not miss in any way, shape, or form is I'm tremendously fortunate in my day-to-day employment because I still work a little bit of time in IT alongside voiceover, but I work remotely, and I work for a company that actually has a healthy culture, and that's so freaking rare. Let's experiment here. By the way, let's experiment with just throwing in our rifle again. Especially now that we've got a whole bunch more ammo back for it. Let's throw some bursts people's way and see if that makes a big difference. Oh, okay, gotcha. So, a non-spiritual counselor to help you. It's fantastic that they had that. Like, more schools should have counselors without agendas. It's the name of my new organization. Counselors without agendas. But yeah, I do not miss corporate culture because there are so many, you're absolutely right, like there's a lot of bullshit constraints that are there oftentimes because of people's agendas, and it can be quite opaque. I've done a lot of technical consulting and I've worked in a lot of organizations, and the people that I dealt with have just been like worn down to nubs, like because of bullshit that happens. Like it's hard to run projects, but a lot of the time you spot things and you're like, this isn't happening for any cogent reason. This is happening because of empire building somewhere. Yeah, I hear you, Captaf. I hear you. Ah, yeah, micromanagement by time pressure. Blah. Do. CWA. Please explain. What do you mean there, Captaf? I missed something there. Counselors with attitude. Yeah. This meeting has been 100 minutes and running. Haha! Little NWA joke there for you. Alright, let's see how you like this. Oh! 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 He takes a shot from the 3-point line, and it is nothing but giblets and net. Thank you all for coming to my TED Talk. With an MSP. Yeah, there's so much work you've got to do in IT. Like, one of the things that I learned over time is you've got to do so much work managing upwards and expressing things in the language of what your direct report cares about. Which I guess in some ways it's just clear communication. Like, it's not as nefarious necessarily as it sounds. But yeah, it's so weird that culture is one of the biggest problems in IT companies because it's one of the cheapest things to fix. You just need to have people who know what the hell they're doing and are willing basically to sort of to deal with it. It's a great book. Like, one of the best books I've read about corporate culture is The No Arsehole Rule. It's so good. Don't hire assholes. Get them out of your organization as quickly as possible. Eject them or lose your best people. Yes, he shoots, he scores. That is absolutely right. And yeah, I hear you, Zevensoft. Like, so often in projects, you're like, well, this is an investment going forward in time. And you just get... Ah, uses buff out. No wonder. No wonder I'm not getting through to you. Hello, Busty Bookers. I believe... Is this your first time here? I don't believe we've had the pleasure of your company before. Welcome to the stream, in either case. I'm so glad I took a second to read your Twitch ID correctly before saying anything. Counselors without agendas, that's another good one for it. Son of a... Yeah, if I can get this guy... If I can fill this guy full of holes, I figure I'm good for the rest of the group, because his crits are just terrifying. Yeah, active sabotage is only going to go so far. Holy! Oh, because he must be stacked... Either stacked up on combat sims or has really good armor. Son of a... It's a swear-friendly zone. Sevensoft, there is no need to apologize for the expletive. And yeah, I hear you, Damien Wise. Like, it's... Yeah, it's not the... It's so common. It's not the kind of environment you want to be in or that anyone wants to be in. And when your opinion isn't counted, especially as an expert, it's just frustrating. Alright. Yeah, code maintenance, technical debt. Okay, well, welcome back, Bussy Bookers. It's great to have you back. Thank you for spending some of your Friday with us. Very much appreciated. I'm trying to figure out the best way just to fill this fellow here full of holes, because I'm not having any of my shots. Minimal damage. And the minute that he goes for his submachine gun, it's crits. It's crits all the way, kid! Oh, there we go. That's not so bad. I shouldn't have said that so quickly. But that was only 40 points. That was only 40 points. That wasn't so bad. And yeah, active sabotage or dragging your feet only goes so far. And that's the kind of thing where I've worked with those organizations, and you can just tell that everyone is just over it. And nothing can really get done. It's the worst. Because one of the interesting things about working in middleware is you meet a lot of folks, because you are basically the connection between two separate things, and you need to know everything and talk to everyone. Yeah. Yeah. One of the best books that I've read around dealing with those sorts of environments is Switch by Chip and Dan Heath. I think I've mentioned it before. But it's a really great book on how basically to affect change in an organization where you don't have any political capital. It's really interesting. There was another one someone recommended to me recently, but I'd have to dig it up. I'm just about to, it's super exciting, I'm just about to start planning my next 3 months, because I go by the... I will talk about accidental creative for like hours and hours. It's slightly cultish, but I'm about to do my quarterly checkpoint and figure out, you know, what does the next 3 months consist of? Because we just hit Games Week, and Games Week is a major like line in the sand for my calendar for the year. Like it dictates a lot of what happens leading up to and after it. So yeah, I might see if I can dig it up at some point in time. And yeah, the number of organizations, going to your point about sort of what happens when you leave Sevensoft, the number of organizations that just don't respond to, or refuse basically to deal with crises until they are in active crisis. Ow. Well, you, sir, can eat a bag of dicks. An entire bag. Yeah, it's why I love the job where I am at the moment. The fact that they actually do have, that they are willing to sort of look to the future. And yeah. Because quality's an interesting one. Oh, huge congratulations to you, Sevensoft, for reaching aspirin as well. Congratulations. Thank you for being around. Yeah, like... Sometimes organizations, when they hear like refactoring or technical debt, they're like, oh, well, that's just an excuse to spend time on stuff. But it's so important. Oh, it's a bad guy dispenser. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. It's so frustrating. What? What the F is that? No wonder I'm getting chewed up. Hey, who was it who said? Was it you, Damien Wise, who said get the weapon? This is why I'm getting chewed up. Holy. A HKP 90. Alright. Alrighty. It is, ladies and gentlemen, it is on. Alright. I think it's time to F some people up. Time to F some people in the A. All the way. Alright. So we won't be needing the 10mm submachine gun for the moment then. Let's eject its ammo. Managing your manager. Gotcha, yeah, that sounds really good too, Damien Wise. Oh, holy shit. Like without wanting to get into murky territory there, Zevon, was it related to work pressures or was it something outside of work that drove them to that point in time? Because that's dark. It is a justice dispenser, Damien Wise. It turns enemies into XPs. Didn't stick the landing there either. It turns enemies into XPs. There we go. Got it there. Got there eventually. So this is why I'm a voice actor, because you get to do multiple takes. Yeah, it's so frustrating. You should not, because when I first got into, like, I don't mean to make this about me, Zevonsoft, but I guess just to sort of bring my experience as a comparison. When I first got into IT, like one of the first books I read, and I really needed to read it at the time because I was kind of I did not have an idea of how to be a good employee, was Hagakure by Yamamoto Tsunotomo. Still one of my favorite books. It's an amazing book about how to be a good retainer. And so if you're learning like how to be a model employee, fantastic. There's a lot of stuff in there that's really applicable. If you're able to read between the lines. I want to pick it up. Alright, I'm going to ditch some more stuff. I'm not super worried about ditching too much in here, because I mean, I'm going to be around here for a while. Let's drop the Power Fist next. But yeah, like after a while, like, so I read that, and that kind of informed my approach to being an employee. And all was good in the realm. And then eventually, like I took a leap of faith in 2001, and I joined a company that was doing tech consulting. Moved over from basically working in a traditional IT company to doing that. All right. And to begin with, it was amazing. But eventually, the company, as it got larger, changed its approach to things, and so, like, the reward basically that you got for really pushing yourself over time, and this was like a lot of international travel, that sort of stuff, so it was hard yards, but the reward you got over time diminished. And so I realized that, and especially as the company culture like started toxifying, just how important and how necessary it is to, like, to actually manage upwards as a tech employee. And it's garbage. It shouldn't be necessary. Like, it's good to be able to know how to get what you want, but you shouldn't have to like assume that the people who are above you are not, you know, functioning human beings. Oh, there is no part of that I did not love. Hey Metsugadoken, how you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. The book I was referring to, so we were just talking about a few books. There's Managing Your Manager by Damien Wise, and then there's Hagakure, The Book of Falling Leaves by Yamamoto Tsunotomo. Bear with me for a minute, and I'll just link it in chat. We're going to lose the sound for a sec. This is one of the things that I do like about streaming on the PS4, as opposed to the PC, that we lose sound on Fallout when we go away. Hagakure is an amazing book. I find it. Let's say I find it an amazing book. Your mileage may vary. I've recommended it to friends and they haven't seen it in the same. The Peter Drucker stream. Well, see, this is the thing. This is why I love. Being here. It's because we have chats about all sorts of stuff. Really smart people with a bunch of different, a bunch of different perspectives. Like we were talking about. We had some amazing chats earlier about. Holy! I missed that. Look, just take a second and look at those numbers. 478. Thank you. 478 points. Holy. That is a weapon. Hot damn. But yeah, like in all seriousness, Busty Bookers, this is why I love being here, because we have chats about all sorts of stuff. So yeah, we were talking earlier about the Fermi paradox. Because games, like to me, games, this is what excites me about this stuff. Like the game is fun and talking about the game is fun. But it's the things that the game elicits. And then in this case, it's the conversations that are elicited just by us being together as a group. Like this is why I love this stuff. It's amazing. Thank you so much for the follow, Metsu, as well. Very much appreciated. Yeah, 478, hot damn, is a personal best. It is. I have not inflicted that much damage with... And that's including using weapons of mass destruction. And...
A steadfast supporter.
There it is. I don't know why there's that latency there. But I guess it's different APIs, like picking up different things. But yeah, like in all seriousness, Busty Bookers, this is something that I will wax lyrical about as well, because I've done a lot of corporate training, teaching people technical programs. So this is how you use like Oracle Service Bus. This is how you use Oracle Business Process Manager, content management system, all that sort of stuff. By the end of me doing that, I found it was so frustrating because I would be dealing with people who had got sent on training courses who were clearly just like a lot of the stuff that you were talking about before, Zevin. Like these were people who were at the end of their rope, and they would spend so much of the time of our time together over 5 days bitching, quite justifiably, about the work environments that they were in. Like they weren't ready to learn, or let's say they could learn, but it wasn't the important thing they needed. It's yeah, they had bigger things on their plate. Hot damn. That's the only downside, that it takes half its ammo per burst. That's why it needs to be reloaded so frequently. Yeah, it's not even a laser rifle, absolutely. So yeah, I kind of have a bit of a bone to pick with dysfunctional corporate culture, because I just like eventually I would end up having these conversations in training courses where I'm meant to be teaching people how to troubleshoot. Motherfucker, you are mine now. How would you like 2 bursts from a HP 90 H&K 90 Heckler and Koch? Heckler and Koch? Heckler and Koch, yeah. Yes, sorry, you made that point before, Zevensoft. You're absolutely right. Over management is dysfunctional. Over management is dysfunctional, and it's a huge problem. Like I remember being on a project once where we had 30 points. You're a tough one. Oh, not that tough. Yeah, I remember being on a project once where we had, I kid you not, about 2 or 3 people in the trenches doing actual implementation work, and we had 3 project managers, none of which knew what the hell they were doing. And that was at a point. When I was also doing a piece of theater at the time, my first piece of amateur theater, and actually where I met my partner, the lovely woman that I'm with now and share my life with. But between the stress of that project, and then basically the time involved in the theater and some other personal stuff that was happening in my life that's not worth going into. Like I've gone back and looked at photos of myself from that time, and my face is skeletal. I'm gaunt, and at the end of doing that play, like my body just it shat itself. Like, I had to go to a doctor and she was like, well, you're not drinking for 3 months to begin with. So let's start there. But yeah, over management, and especially dysfunctional over management, just saps people of the will to live. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot to be said for the principle of people being promoted to the point of, like, silly people get promoted upwards. Promoted to the level of their incompetence. Pushed out of the way. To where hopefully they won't do damage. Ma'am, could I interest you in? Yes! That! 160 points! Excuse me. Yeah, a lot of the time in organizations, people will just get promoted to get the hell out of people's way. That's why I find that the No Asshole Rule is such an important book, because the point that it makes quite adamantly is don't promote these people just to get them out of your way. If they're a problem, get rid of them. The hell is that?
A kind gesture.
Hey Caligos, thank you so much for the biddies! Biddies, biddies, biddies. Biddies, 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 biddies. Biddies, 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 biddies. Thank you so much for that. Very much appreciated. So many cheers! I was deep in trying to figure out what my weapon was. People are always promoted until late. Yeah, no, absolutely, Zevin. Like, the idea of, like, the career track is so dysfunctional. You talk to so many people in tech who were like, well, I wanted to get a better pay grade and recognition for what I was doing, so I had to get promoted to a point where I wasn't doing the thing that is necessary. I am doing wonderful, Caligos. It is Friday night, and I'm hanging out with you lovely people. Like, there are few things that are better than that. Like, it's been an absolute delight. And I'm just in the middle of figuring out whether this Heckler and H&K, it's Heckler and Koch, isn't it? Or am I mispronouncing that? But anyway, this HK weapon is better than the combat shotgun I've got at the moment, because this place has just been a minefield of seriously impressive weaponry. I reckon we do it. I reckon we drop the combat shotgun for the moment. Yeah, the point that you make there, Damien Wise, is very, very true. Like, it's not... Like, it's always worth stating those things. Yeah, do not let it get to the point where it's bad for your physical and mental health. It's part of why I got out of... It's part of why I stopped working for dysfunctional companies. But again, like, there's a level of privilege that comes with that. Like, you've got to be able to... Yeah, you've got to be able to be in a position to make that choice, and not everyone can, which sucks. Zevensoft says there was a test where they used random choice to promote people and it was more effective. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, from a hiring perspective, that would have to be in some ways a lot more effective as well, because it gets around cognitive bias. And yeah, I hear you, Busty Bookers. Like, when you are freelancing, you either have this level of, like, I found even when I was doing tech consulting, if I wasn't working with a company directly, but just in there to fix a problem, just that level of separation really does help your mind. Because you're like, well, you've got problems, they're not my problems. I don't need to invite them in. Statler and Waldorf. An S&W. Zevin, I would probably recommend against saying something direct like that with your boss. Like, there is no good thing that would come out of saying something like that. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a burst. Charity of interpretation principle. Please explain. What is that? Unpack that for me. Unpack that for me! We're just two people standing around in the bottom of a vault, firing automatic weaponry into each other. Man, she's tough. Statler and Waldorf are amazing. I love... Oh man. The, because it's been an emotional week. I'm not gonna cry, but man, I love so much the new Muppet movie with oh, what's his name? Jason. I'm blanking on his last name, but Jason from How I Met Your Mother was like, he was part of what was instrumental in actually getting it made, because he was like, I want to do a Muppet movie. I want to do a movie with the Muppets. Why wouldn't I want to? Oh man, 43 points. Crit just with a single shot. Alright, I'm going to switch to single shots now that I'm not dealing with time pressures there. I don't have as many people around. In here, I've killed them all. It's lovely having you folks here. That's wonderful. But yeah, oh man, Fallout 2 you're absolutely right, Caligos as well. Fallout 2 deserves some love. It's the only flaw I think that I've come back to a few times in conversation is that the writing can be a little bit thirsty at times, but apart from that, it's a really interesting game. Like it's fairly clear from parts of the game that the devs, and you know, to be fair, they were probably crunching insanely, but yeah, they wanted to be having more of the sexy times than they were getting while they were making this game. Oh, the writing's good, don't get me wrong, Busty Bookers, but there is sort of... There's a way it deals especially with female characters, and there's an element of... Even if you, like, when you read the manual, there's an element of... The devs were super thirsty when they were putting the game together. That being said, like, that aside, and it's only an element that comes in some situations, that aside, the writing's amazing, no doubt. No doubt. Is assuming that someone disagrees with your position as rational and kind. Charity of interpretation. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, well, Caligos, yeah, you read the manual. Like, I think they... Well, I guess I'm just going to loop back around and saying the same thing. Yeah, I think we've gotten better. I think we've gotten better overall, Busty Bookers. I mean, a great example would be Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the new one. Oh, what is her name? Cassandra? Cassandra in that is super thirsty. Like, she will fuck anything that moves, but it never feels like it's just the same options that are given to the male character. Like, she's amazing, and most people I know who've played the game, like, they choose her as a character, and it never feels like it objectifies her. So, she gets all the options that the male character gets, whereas and don't get me wrong, like, I know that I'm talking about a game that is 20 years old this year, and God bless it for everything that it's done, but there are points in Fallout 2 where you can use sex as a bargaining tool or a lever if you're a female character. You don't get those options if you're a male character. So it assumes a level of agency and power. It ties into that narrative of women are the withholders of sex, and that's what makes them powerful. Men are the ones who have sex drive, and they always want it, and that's their vulnerability. And that just steers far too close to pickup culture psychology to make me comfortable. But it's only a tiny thing. It's a tiny little grain. It's a tiny little grain of salt in the ointment of an otherwise amazing game. Did it? Did Fallout 4 do that with female characters as well? Like, they were the ones who were given the options to use sex as leverage? But even if that is the case, like, I would still put the new Assassin's Creed up there as an example. I've heard great things about the new Tomb Raider. I have not played it because watching a few people stream it seems a little bit overladen with systems. But I mean, that seems like a bit of an unfair thing to complain about. I'd hope Fallout 4 didn't do that. I'd hope it was a little bit more... I'd hope it was a little bit more... You're having difficulty accessing the files. Yeah, I'd hope that Fallout 4 was a little bit more enlightened. So just getting back to your point, Zev, and stuff about charity of interpretation. Thank you for explaining that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's a super useful... I think it's a super useful, like, mental hack. I came into that recently after doing a course that David H. Lawrence was offering, and he sort of framed it as the idea that everyone, when they interact with you, is using the best option that they have available to them. So I guess, you know, that's another way of getting to that point of being rational and kind. They're just doing the best thing that they know at that point in time. And that's, like, I found that huge in terms of the difference it made to what I'm doing emotionally. Like, regardless of whether it sort of helps anyone else. It's little things. Like, I think I've mentioned this before in chat, but, it just means basically that it cuts off all the negative, expensive emotions that burn so much of your time and energy. Like anger, like frustration, like disbelief. That's what he was hitting me with. He had a ripper. That's nasty. But yeah, it just gets rid of all those things. Like I've probably mentioned this before in chat when we've been streaming, but if I'm ever driving, I was having a conversation with my daughter about this the other day because she asked me why I do it, but if I'm ever driving and someone beeps their horn at me because... Sorry, I just choked on what I was eating. If I'm ever driving and someone beeps their horn at me because they're getting angry at what I'm doing, mentally I just tell myself a story of they're just beeping because they're saying hello. And so I'll just wave enthusiastically in the rearview mirror. I'm sure it pisses them off if they're already frustrated in some way with my driving, but it stops me from getting frustrated, and it stops me basically from getting upset or making basically a poor decision with what I'm going to do next from a driving perspective, because they've pushed me to a point where I'm now I'm not in an even state. It's just a little mental hack. And I found similarly, like that idea basically of scrolling charity of interpretation. It's super useful in the same way. Yeah, firstly assume good intentions. That's another really good way of framing it, Damien Wise. And yeah, I think it means that you have a lot more... The conversations you have with people are a lot more useful as well. Sorry, Busty Bookers, what's accurate? I might need you to rewind there, because we've gone over a few different things there. Are you talking about the idea of women being, like, women versus men in sexual relations? And oh shit, there's someone in here with power armor. Oh, not power armor, combat armor. It's probably a little too late for chats with you folks. Oh, I see. You're talking about the horn side of things. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, different, in Australia, it's absolutely not the case. Like, the horns are typically used basically just to say to other people what you were doing is wrong. Yeah, I've seen that in Southeast Asia too. That there's a lot of communication using horns, just like exactly as you say, like a "Bup, I'm here." I lived for a little while in Bangkok, and it's fascinating watching the traffic there because there are far fewer assumptions made, but overall it seems like there are fewer, like for the density of people on the road, there's not that many incidents. Okay. Thank you for elucidating about Fallout 4, Caligos Eve, as well. It's great to hear that there are that the options that it gives you are similar. That's awesome. Yeah, it can be. It absolutely can be Zevonsoft. It can be like a, hey, what are you doing? That's kind of the difference between like a short tap of the horn and a long like... Alright, what are we doing? Man, time's flown tonight. How is it already 11 o'clock? It goes so fast. Alright, I'm gonna guess these folks aren't up for chats. Which is a shame. Could really go for some combat drugs here too. Alright, let's see what happens if I walk in the room. Let's just take a swing. Hey everyone! Oh, here we go. I can talk to them. Gotcha. Oh, that's interesting. So the same in Cairo as well, Damien. That's cool. I remember once there was like this wacky idea of like providing like a light system on the back of your car, so that you'd then have like 3 or 4 buttons to press, and you could like communicate via basically emoji. You know, like happy, sad, you know, thank you, that sort of stuff. But I think the it was like proposed as an idea, but I think the deal was that it would just end up being too much of a distraction. Righter of wrongs, the icon of hope for humanity. What a dumbass. Boring speeches like, I'm not interested. Oh, okay. So, to only... Son of a... I hate flamers. I really hate flamers. Yeah, absolutely. Too distracting. Which is a shame, because it's a good idea, like being able to communicate in that way. What time do things start up in the morning in Cairo? Because I found that in Bangkok, like Bangkok just goes for most of the night, but things don't really sort of kick into gear until about 10 the next morning. Huh, there you go. Alright, I get the feeling this fight's going to take a while to get the rhythm of as well. Because there's 2 gents there in... Oh! Well, that's something. Darian was hit for 57 points. Around 9-10 AM. Yeah, that sounds pretty similar. You Nestle Punchables. Yeah, when you say eye contact, Zevonsoft, do you mean you're talking about like eyes on the road, presumably, rather than like eye contact with anyone or anything other than what you're doing? Please explain. Oh, well, that's Darian gone. Man, this HK's a solid investment. Doop 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 doop. Let's see how we go with the... If I can get combat armor from these folks... Whoa, that's the business. I mean, that was my ideal scenario in here, like being able to level up my armor. Oh, okay. Like I'm aware that I'm aware that you use eye contact to negotiate sort of who's going first, but I wasn't aware that it was a legal requirement. That's interesting. You have a nap. You just lie down. We should probably do that level thing. If we can do that now. Character. We get a perk. Oh, there you go. I did not know that. It's been so long since I've gotten my license that I did not know that. I guess that makes sense because it gets used a lot. Like communicating, you know, you go, I'm good, that sort of stuff. Actually, let's not do the character now. My head's in the middle of a fight. Let's do it later. Just gonna walk over here. Hot damn that weaponry though. Because I haven't even cracked open the saw. Which sounds familiar to. There's like an infantry. It uses a shotgun shell, so it can't be what I'm thinking of. But there's an army weapon that has a similar acronym. Just gonna keep turning people into bits. You people are the best, though. It has been a wonderful night of conversation so far. The very bestest way to spend a Friday night. Cut off a car, motorbike, or even a pedestrian at 5 minutes to sunset. That's a good point. SAW, sorry, Capt F. SAW. Oh, it might be SAM. I'd need to have a look at my inventory again to check. Oh, this is interesting. Approaching slowly. I must be chewing through the, actually I might switch back to singles, because that was doing pretty solid damage too. Like, now that I feel... I'll see how the damage goes with this guy, but I feel like... Because I can do 2 targeted shots, as long as these folks aren't gonna seriously hurt me. I might get better use of my ammo this way. Let's try this then. 14 points. Oh! Ow! Ow!
You have perished.
You perished. Thanks, Ron. Very terse there. Yeah. Oh man. That'd be something. I feel like I did well up until that point in time. Alright. What did we learn, fam? We've learned that. Cause. It's a cause. Alright, let's pop this in here. What's its damage rating? 12 to 16. Oh no, that's the... Oh, yeah, hang on. Yeah, 15 to 25. So it does more damage. It does more damage than the P90. Alright, I think we're going to leave the grenades off the table for the moment then. Well, you know, it was going to happen at some point. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Busty Bookers. So you find that your blood sugar can drop Is that like if it's not invasive to ask, is that diabetes or is it a different sort of disorder? Either way, it does not sound fun. Oh, there we go. You're not strong enough to use this weapon properly. Alright. Well, you live, you learn. You lose, you learn. Not gonna let that one off the leash then. Let's put it back on the leash. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Ah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Come on over. I've got something to tell you, Darian. 52 points. There we go. The cause? Young man. Young man. That was Alanis Morissette. Thank you. Unless you were making a joke about... Oh, no, you were making a joke about the gun. Of course, not the song. Cause, yeah. Yeah, see, I went to crows, like when it's C-A-W-S. Caw, bang. But, yeah, I'm still... Kill me once, shame on you. Kill me twice, we're sleeping with one eye open. The Metallica defense. Sleeping with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Yeah, it took me a sec to catch up. I mean, in my defense, The Cause and Alanis Morissette were a thing at the same period. The same period of musical history. They were both a thing. They kind of went away, didn't the brother in The Cause end up being like some sort of incredibly right-wing, like, political embarrassment or something? Or am I inventing things in my head? Alright, let's see how 2 bursts go. Because these guards are going to be harder to get rid of than Darian. I don't know, 67 points. I reckon we can do it. They were musically adjacent. Oh! Oh! Okay, so the guards are not going to be as much of a problem as I feared. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? There's always this mental trap we fall into when we don't hear someone for a while. We assume that something went wrong with their career, where they could just be, you know, doing their thing. Oh. Oh, it's these two. It's these two that are going to be the problem somehow. I did not expect that. Alright, I'm going to bank those AP, and I'm going to see if I can get... punching me for that much damage. And no, they're not going to give me the good armor. Damn it. That sucks. Let's drop that weapon. I'll get the ammo out of it later. Well, we're in peril now. We're in some peril. Whereas Alanis Morissette is going strong. Just come back to her musical career. Could I interest one of you gents in a burst of... in a delicious burst of lead? You? That wasn't quite what I meant to do. Embarrassing. He just picked up the weapon I dropped on the ground. Cheeky SOB. Congratulations to Caligacy for reaching the rank of Squire. It's lovely to have your company. It's funny how you can out people of a certain age and a certain mindset by whether they recognize Jagged Little Pill. That was an album of a point in time. and a particular mood.
Yes! Yes! Blood for the blood god! Yes!
That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, Alanis Morissette in Dogma is one of the best parts of that. It's just so good. So good. Man. Kevin Smith's work. Love that guy. Love that guy and love that he's doing what he's doing. Avicii, pardon my... who is that? I know, like, the name vaguely rings a bell, but tell me more. Who was Avicii? Oh man, the minute you say that, Cap, I can... You typed it. I heard it in my head. That, well, can you feel it? It's terrible, terrible imitation of it. But yeah, man. Everyone. Like, oh man, shivers down the back of my spine now. It's just... just so good. Just so freaking good. Yeah, I feel like I'm the Philistine in the room for not knowing, but who is Avicii? A musician of some sort, I'm gathering. Super stim packs. Oh, no wonder they were hurting so much. They've got power fists. Now you're punching with real power. The Nintendo Power Fist. Don't. Just eat a bag of dicks. Eat the whole bag. Suicide. Ah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, especially if you were a fan of their work. It's a very... I know it's a trite thing to say, but... That was a weird sound. Alright, now I need to heal. And what better way to heal? The Super Stim Pack. Just one hit from a Super Stim Pack. And all of your regenerative needs are satisfied. Alright, I'm gonna go around the corner and I'm gonna make this last guard waste their turn coming to me. Do 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 do. So it happened back in April. Here we go. No, here's two for you. Oh, just one will do. Hot damn. Yeah, you stole that weapon because I dropped it. Man, this has been a gold mine coming down here. So I need to go get my combat shotgun back because I can't use that weapon. And I'm not going to have the weight allowance. Swedish musician DJ. Oh, okay, I see. Thank you for explaining, Caligos. Like, for those of you who were fans of his work. Like, I'm sorry for the loss that you've experienced, because it always hits you when you have a personal connection to someone through their work. Even though you're at a distance from them personally. Yeah, I probably have Zevensoft. Country styles with EDM. That's why you said hey brother before, Captaf. Jesus, like it sounds like someone whose work I should know if I don't, because country blended with EDM. Like, as a fan of bands like V&V Nation, that sounds like something that's right up my alley. So, thank you. Like, thank you for the conversation leading in that direction. I'm going to check out their work. Yeah, I feel like a Philistine for not knowing. It's the guy over in the corner going, "What's happening, everyone?" No, you were. It was Captaf. It was a wonderful reference. I just missed it because, as we've discussed previously, why did I lose 3 current hit points? I don't want to lose 3 current hit points. Am I being radiated? No, I'm not. I don't have a radiation flag up at the moment. Let's not continue that trend. Alright, let's save the game. Alright. Bottom of Vault 15. Remains of the dog. Yeah, I've got no idea. I've got no idea personally, but Damien Wise. But the point I was making is that EDM is something there are some groups that I dig. You find several detailed reports on the NCR. It seems there is a spy within their council. Copy the reports to a holo disk. When you say the modern name, Sevensoft, what do you mean? The modern name compared to what, drum and bass? No, because that's not the same, is it? That's where we see my musical naivete at work. Folks, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes just to go and grab some water because I'm out of water at the moment. I see. Yeah, there you go. Okay. But isn't EDM as well? This is certainly something that can spark a conversation in the meantime. Isn't EDM sort of a superset of techno and trance? Like, I thought that it encompassed more than just sort of that one particular style. But at any rate, I'll be back momentarily because I need the waters. I need to hydrate. You'll do the same. Hydrate, soldiers. Hello! I'm back. Gotcha. Okay, so electronica, EDM, techno trance, these names all they are all referring to the same body of music then. Interesting. Very interesting. I picked up some water, and I also picked up some vital supplies. Alright. Oh, okay. Gotcha, so it is a bit of a superset there then. I see. Alright. We download that. Let's do the character thing. 90s techno. So what would be an example of like what floats your boat there? It's a favorite group of yours, Zevonsoft. And as a quick reminder, thank you so much for that, Codsworth. What is the best thing that has happened to you this week? Alright. Oh sweet, my mouse wheel works. Gotta pick a perk. Pick a perk. What have I got perks wise? Ranger, Gecko Skinning, Thief. Bonus move, Cautious Nature. No. Dodger. Only sequence. Empathy. Explorer. See, I thought I'd taken... Evidently I haven't taken Explorer. Greater chance at finding special places and people. Oh, that's right. I've taken skills in outdoor. I'm conflating the two. Better stealing? I'm not averse to that. Karma beacon? Ah, whether good or bad. Mutate? Magnetic personality is not so useful because I tend to find that my companions die. Culture Beat, LaBouche, Amber. Nice. I've got to admit, I know none of those bands. Awesome though. Are any of those on Spotify? I wonder if that might be a reason to check out Spotify. I'll tell you what though. I love that period of life where your brain is just like, you can enjoy new music like now, but you know, there's a point in time where neurologically we're just primed. We're primed for music and for loving it, you know. And math being sort of math in my head here, I'm thinking it's about the point where you might have been sort of around your early 20s, maybe Zevonsoft, or a little bit younger, like teens. Nice! That's awesome, Captav. Congratulations, that rocks. All of them are on Spotify. That's cool. But yeah, like that, when music has that power, when you find something for the first time around to completely arrest you. Like I've been, I'm a huge Garbage fan, but I'd been not listening to them for some time because it sort of evokes certain feelings, certain emotions that I've been trying to avoid. But because of some things that have been happening this week, in a good way, like in a finding parts of myself and picking them back up and becoming more whole kind of way, like in that kind of way, I was remembering there was this amazing, like I can tell you where I was, like the very moment I first heard Milk by Garbage. It's this amazing song. I'm remembering the name of the song right, I think. It's not Super Vixen. Super Vixen's the song that opens the album. Milk is the slower one. But I was Like, of all of the places, I was at Baskin and Robbins in Aspley in Brisbane with friends. Like, we were out basically just getting Baskin and Robbins because that was the thing we did when we were in uni. I think it was just a social get-together. But I just remember hearing that song, like hearing basically just the vocals and the, like, Shirley Manson's amazing voice and all of everything that's underneath it. And I just never had heard anything like that before. And I was literally arrested. Like, not in the sense that I got carted off by police, but I just stopped. Like, I stopped talking. I stopped moving. I wasn't dealing with people around me. My brain was just like, what is this thing? And when that happens with music, when it happens with anything, God, it is just the best feeling. Like, when you feel like God basically is pointing a ray of light at you, whether you believe in God or not, there is some message that is just for you that the universe is reaching out to hit you with. And God, that's an amazing moment when it happens. Oh, okay, so my math is off a little bit there, Zevensoft. So you've just gotten into that over time. Culture Beat, Mr. Vane, I know that. Oh, see, there you go. So it might just be like Avicii, that I know the songs, I just don't know the groups. Plus 20 to speech I do not need. Scout. Scouty, scout, 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 scout. Increasing the size of explorations in the world map by 1 in each direction. You also have a better chance of finding special encounters. Quick pockets. Ooh, accessing your inventory only costs 2 action points instead of 4. That is actually something I could go for, I think. That could be useful. I reckon it's... Although, what have we got here? You have gained the attention of a mysterious stranger who will appear from time to time here to help you. If your ally is lost in combat, do not expect him. I reckon let's go with that. Let's go with mysterious stranger. Hey, Short Raver, how you doing? Lovely to have you here. We're just on the tail end. We've got like another 30 minutes on the clock. It's been a good evening. We've had some amazing conversations, and I have turned a lot of people into giblets. Just like a lot of people into giblets. I was just having a chat before, just talking before about like how amazing it is when you have those moments where music just stops you. Just stops you in your tracks. When you hear maybe something for the first time that you've never heard before. For me, it was Milk by Garbage. Yeah, it is. But I'm thinking that Mysterious Stranger might be fun. So I'll go with that. You're right. Because there's a number of times, even just during this combat, where I'm like, well, if it took less time, it'd be handy. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Yeah, I'm largely taking it for the yucks. I'll definitely, next perk, I will probably go for Quick Pockets, because that seems to be the most useful out of everything that's there. Either that or Scout. Let's take some traps. Traps. It's all good. It's all good. Like, without... you can get the refined version of it. It's just, isn't it amazing when music just stops you in your tracks? Any art, whatever it is, music, film, whatever. It's amazing when it just stops you in your tracks and you're like, nope, I don't want a human right now. I'm busy processing this. Ah, sweet. Are you kicking off Fallout 3? Are you... And when you say just about to drop into, are you streaming tonight? Because if you are, you can send folks your way in a little bit. If not, then enjoy. Hey, are you playing Fallout 76, by the way, Short Rover, when it comes out? Because that's dropping next week. Like, that's dropping the middle of next week. Doop, 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 doop. But yeah, when art just hits you, when it just takes you by the shoulders and just says, listen to this, it's amazing. I remember getting into trouble with the partner I was with at the time because close to New Year's, we went and saw Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. And you may not like the film, like you may not like that, like the way it approaches Shakespeare, and that's cool. Like everything speaks to different people differently. But I still have a love for that film, and goddamn, like after that film, I did not want to talk. I didn't want to interact with anyone. I just wanted to process it, because like Baz Luhrmann stuff is, I think he's at his best when he is in that sort of hyperkinetic, like you can see similarities between Strictly Ballroom and Romeo and Juliet in that there's a certain level of what would you say, hyperkineticness to it, Brechtian theater. There's a very much an over the topness and an almost ludicrousness of it. See, to my shame, I've not seen Gatsby, even though the cast is amazing. I should do that. Flair, yeah, absolutely. That's a really good word for it, Sevensoft. Flair is a really good word for it. But yeah, after seeing Romeo and Juliet, I did not want a human. I just wanted to be basically in the afterglow of that film, because it hit me so goddamned hard. And partner I was with did not get that, and so I had to get dragged out of that spell just to basically explain, look, and I couldn't even do it because like I didn't have the words to be able to communicate that clearly. But man, yeah, well, I will check it out. I know I'm a terrible human being. Well, if it's on Stan, I'll check it out. Because we have the Stan. Bless. Love a film that can make you cry. Oh, I almost missed that. I just finished watching through Haunting of Hill House, and there was some frequent tears through that. It's beautiful being able to be open to art as well. And I'm not saying that like it sounds super trite. It sounds like it should be on like a wall calendar, but for the longest time, like it took me a long time to get to a point where I was emotionally available to this stuff. Like I would shut myself off from it and be unaffected by it. And the idea of like continuing through life that way kind of terrifies me, because there's nothing more beautiful than being moved by art. It's the bestest. Oh, cool! You're one step out. Oh, great to hear that. It's great to hear that your back's better, Short Raver. That's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that. And yeah, you're one step ahead of me. I haven't touched the demo because I've got folks I'm going to be streaming it with. Yeah, the ending is a complex conversation without getting into spoilers. Absolutely, Caligos. I think that's it's a divisive one as well. But yeah, amazing tension, great characters, so good, just so good. I will add. I promise you. Oh, there we go. That's what I came for. I promise. But I'm at my maximum weight capacity. I promise Sevensoft I will see Great Gatsby and I will report back from the front lines on it. In fact, I'm going to add a note right now. Because like I said, I'm just in the process of planning out my next 3 months at the moment. So, like for me, a lot of that means like what books am I going to read? Like what films do I actively want to pursue? Like what do I want to see? Yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers whatsoever. We are a spoiler-free zone here. But I appreciate you saying that up front as well, just in case. Watch The Great Gatsby on Stan. But yeah, seriously, watch that series. Watch that series, Short Raver. No Nice. Nice one, Sevensoft. That was awesome. Very good. Alright, what have we got? Oh man, no spoilers either. I have to watch horror by my... Well, this sounds like I'm playing the smallest violin in the world, but when I watch horror, I have to watch it by myself, because my partner, she can't stand it. And I don't mean it's like she doesn't like it, I mean like, she's one of those people who are like, super sensitive to it, so it fucks with her brain. You know, it's looking forward to a string of nightmares if she watches it. So, you know, why do that? So yeah, I had to watch that by myself, but we're also watching Daredevil at the moment, and hot diggity, is season 3 of Daredevil ever a good thing? I find like there's a moment sometimes in vigilante shows where you get to a point where you just really want someone to get powerfully hurt. And I found that the writing, I can't put my finger on what it is that they're doing that's magic this season, but with what they're doing with the writing, there have been moments where I've just wanted a motherfucker to get hurt. Like, people just to get turned into burger. And sometimes it happens, and sometimes it doesn't. They play with expectations, but it's good. It's really good. Carla Gugino, is she related to Haunting of Hill House or to Daredevil there? Pardon my ignorance, but I'm imagining she's a showrunner for one of the two. But okay, how much do you weigh? It's not going to tell me. Alright. Let's go do some work with the inventory. Weight capacity, I've got 4 pounds spare. Oh, okay, gotcha. What else has she done? I vaguely recall a conversation where someone mentioned like the showrunner being involved in something previously, but it eludes me currently. Ah, Sin City. Oh, there you go. Interesting. I haven't used these flares. Let's ditch the flares. Flares apparently weigh nothing. Let's not ditch the flares. Well, that was a mistake. You see fruit. Pick up the fruit. Fruit of the loom. Am I just dropping stuff that has no weight? It must be. Oh, I can't get my flare back. Oh no, 148. Fruit has weight. Oh, gotcha. So not showrunner, but actress. Hang on. No, Rachel Weisz is not. Oh yeah, Rachel Weisz was in The Mummy. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you now. I was coming at that from the wrong end. She played the lesbian. Sorry, this is terrible, but we're going into Sin City territory. So we're going into Frank Miller's mind. So she played the lesbian friend in Sin City. The one who gets trapped, who gets rescued by Marv. Huh. I did not recognize her. She's great, like from an acting perspective. Yeah. Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, she's amazing. She has a lot of... Oh, actually, hang on a minute. I can kind of see that now. I'm confusing her with another character. Yeah, I feel terrible, like, referring to the character that way, but it's literally the way that she's it's literally the way that she's referred to. I can't think of a more nuanced way. Except for her name, which eludes me. No, Rachel Weisz was not in Sin City. But... Carla Gugino is. I'd pop out to IMDb, but we've got like 10 minutes left on the clock. And I don't want to kill the sound. I could do it on the iPad, but I've already taken notes once. But yeah, Rachel Weisz is definitely not in Sin City. Yeah, Brittany Murphy was. Man. Speaking of people taken before their time. Do I need a shovel? I could probably get away with not having 2 pieces of rope. Let's drop 1 piece of rope. Oh, there we go. Rope weighs 10 pounds. F that. Yeah, there's more I'd say about like what makes that series good, but it feels like I'd be verging on spoiler territory. But all I can say is it's a delight. Trust the writers. There are points in time. No, actually no, it still gets into spoiler territory. Trust the writers. They do good work. It is a great series. I think that's all we can do in here now, folks. I think we've done what we can do to do. And do. I don't see any more lockers down here. So I think it's time to head back up. Let's go have a chat to the doc and see how he's feeling. I mean, we've killed... We've killed ahead of all of this. We've definitely come out ahead, inventory-wise. My inventory is just rocking out now. Due to power failure. Yeah, there's not much I can do about that. Actually, hang on a sec. I am going to check something. Because my brain's tickled by something. I wonder. I wonder. Wonder. Carla. Oh yeah, I can see it now. Oh, yeah. Oh, she was in Watchmen as well. There you go. She was in Watchmen as... Boop, boop, as... Where is it? Where is it? Man, gotta scroll back a ways to find that. Because you're old. Oh yeah, Silk Spectre. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Wait, what? There we go. There's my fallouts. Had a panic for a minute there, thinking it had gone away. Alright, it's heading up. That's Vault 15 done. I like the way I worked it. Yo diggity. Let's get rid of those grenades. Can I full loot? That's full loot. What's all full loot? It's great to see Rachel Weisz doing more stuff too. She's had a few films out recently. She's amazing. Like, you might love or hate the Constantine remake, but sorry, not remake. You may love or hate the Constantine adaptation with Keanu Reeves. She's one of the best things in that. She does amazing work. She does amazing work in general. She's great. Like, that's a film that has... Constantine's a film that you know, you could argue has like some troubled overall... it's troubled overall, but the cast is amazing. Like, Tilda Swinton is wonderful. Peter Stormare... Yeah, Stormare is, as always, amazing in that film. Exactly. That's the gif. Whew. Yeah, right. She's also, yeah. She's a very sexy woman. And not, yeah, you know, she's not conventionally, well, she's not like, she's not someone who would get cast as like a bombshell. Oh, how's the Suspiria remake? Because, yeah, she's in that, isn't she? I've seen the trailer for it, and it looks really interesting. Alright. I feel ill. Can you help me? Hopefully that's going to get rid of my radiation. Oh, I forgot that I took combat meds a ways back there. Am I radiated? Let's find out from my character sheet. Yeah, Tilda Swinton's always incredible in whatever she does. Oh, what was... Yeah, he is in something new. I can't remember what is... But he's always doing stuff. Is it good, though? Short Raver, even if the remake is nothing like the original of Suspiria, is it good, though? Oh, there we go. Hey, I lost my radiated. This is a great day. I decided to do that before telling him he was free. Hey, thanks for fixing me up. Now you're free. Alright, Darren's dead. Yeah, what are you gonna do now? Alright, yeah, sure. See you later. Oh, that's right, he is an American Gods, isn't he? Man, I actually need to hit that show up. For some reason, I just haven't gotten into it. And there's 2 seasons down now, isn't there? Longmire's another one that I've not seen. Oh, Capdaf, if you love Longmire, have you seen Justified? It's a slightly different tone, but you might dig that if you like Longmire. Oh, thank you, Metsu. I thought there was another R in there somewhere. Strom Rare. Hang on. I'm just going to pop out for a sec again to IMDb. Thank you for the clarification. It's actually... Oh, yeah, Storm Air. Yeah, there you go. You've got it right there. I put the R in the wrong place. Thank you so much for the clarification. Yeah, Storm Air. Yeah, if you like police dramas, I guess Justified is a very certain class of police drama. It also sort of is a little bit of like southern small town revenge drama, that kind of thing. It has it has an amazing cast in it, and it has Timothy Olyphant. Timothy Olyphant is one of the main characters. Well, the arguably like the protagonist, and he's just delightful in that. I kind of fell in love with his work in Deadwood, but he gets to show a little bit more of his humor in Justified. Oh, okay. Yeah, endings is hard, yo. It's a bummer to hear that it didn't stick the landing on that. Endings is always hard. Let's save actually as well. So what's the pitch on Longmire? Can you sell me on that, Capdaf? What's like the elevator pitch on why someone should watch that show? Vote 15 done. It's been a productive night. Alright, we have 3 minutes left on the clock, folks. I'm gonna head back to NCR and probably call it a night from there. So, in the meantime, I would love to hear from those of you who haven't said anything yet. What is the best thing that happened to you this week? No need to share, but if you do want to, I'd love to hear how life's been treating you. Alright, and speaking of how life has been treating people, let's go. Let's hop back into the Highwayman and tear ass back to NCR. Oh god, that sound, it's just so good. It's so good. But yeah, Capdaf, let me know what the pitch is. Let me know what the pitch is on Longmire, because I'm a huge Westerns fan. But for some reason, I've just never watched. I've never sat down to start tucking into that show, and I couldn't tell you exactly why. Save for the fact that, you know, there's always, you know, there's only so much basically that we can watch. Status. Oh, let's have a look at the Spy Hollow Disc, by the way. NCR monthly production. There's nothing here about Vault 13 or a deck, though. Are addressed to Darian and assigned F. Alright. I guess that means something. Who starts with an F? Retrieve parts, gain access to Vault 15. We have done that. We have blown giant holes in Vault 15. Oh, Katie Sackhoff is so good. Man, she was one of the best. She was easily one of the best parts of Battlestar Galactica. Like what she would do with her reaction shots. Like there was always something going on. Man, her Starbuck was just amazing. Is Katie Sackhoff is she the protagonist, or is it a shared focus between her and another character? Because it centers around like an older dude, doesn't it? If I'm remembering correctly. Oh, okay. I've never actually watched 24, but I'm not surprised that she was good in it. Ah, nice. Yeah. She just comes in swinging, like in whatever she's doing. She was in, oh Jesus, what was it? I think I ended up watching Oculus, which is, God, what is it the director of Oculus has just done? I think they might have even been, yeah, they were the showrunner for, the person who made the film Oculus was also the showrunner for Haunting of Hill House. And Oculus it's a good but not a great piece of horror, but Katie Sackhoff is amazing in it. If I'm thinking of the right film, and I think I am. There was definitely a film. Oh, she was in The Flash. She is in Oculus. Thank you, Capdaff. I am thinking of the right film. Very much appreciated. So I don't have to go. I don't have to go out to. Block 15. Yes. Oh, I was hoping to have your name. Who is F? Thank you so much for your company tonight, Zevensoft. It's been wonderful having you here, and I look forward to hearing what the future holds for you. Thank you so much for sharing with us as well. I really appreciate your vulnerability.
Hey, stranger. So the job's done? Do we have access to the vault?
Squatters want a deal. You help them become self-sufficient and they'll give you the vault. Also, here are the parts. Mercy, mercy, mercy. As always, your emoji game is on point.
So they finally got reasonable. I can bull the Congress into sending supplies and techs. You sure we can get into the vault? I've always believed in fair pay for fair work. My assistant will square things up.
Right. Yeah, let's let her know about the spy. Because that, at the very least, it might get us more stuff, more trust, more things.
Damn. The only person who knew all this was Fergus.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting anything, but maybe Gunther should know about this.
Well, given that Fergus starts with an F, I'm thinking, yeah, it's Fergus. Here, to collect my pay. So, alright, so that's Gunther. Right. Take a look at this disc. Oh, holy! 4,000! Well, there you go. That's why it's worth telling people about spies and their organization. Ha ha ha! A level up as well. Oh man. Just for taking a little bit more curiosity through there. Holy, we got lots of stuffs. Thank you. Reminds me of that woman from the Firefly episode, the one with the nice hat. You might need to be more specific there, Capdaf. It's been a while since I've seen Firefly. Like, again, you might be making a joke that I'm missing because my brain, like, is half here. And half of the conversation. Oh, yeah. 10 perception and agility. Like, I might be made out of paper mache, but those extra AP, it does work. Alright, let's bump up the old energy weapons as well. It's an investment in the future. Invest in the future of your character. Put points into energy weapons today. Is there anything else here? Do we want to bump up lockpick any further? Probably don't need to. I could probably... Actually, you know what? Let's close out small guns just a little bit more. Let's give that some love. Because every little bit helps there. And I'll put just a little bit more into science and traps. Yeah. Oh yeah, patience. Yeah, you. Oh, gotcha. Hang on. So you're saying Katie Sackhoff's character in Longmire reminds you of Patience? Yeah. Sorry, I did think about Patience. Like that was where my brain went because you know it's one of the most evocative characters, especially with the whole sort of. There's an amazing phrase she has, which is that great overlap in Firefly between sort of old Western technology, where she's talking to Mal and she's like, "Just collating data, as they say." Yeah. Such a great sequence. Alrighty-o, folks. We have gone into time extended. So I'm gonna... Now's a really good point to finish things off for tonight. And actually brings it in pretty much even on, like... We're just about to hit, like, 3 hours, thanks to the late start. Oh, Tandy does. Gotcha. I'm with you now. Yeah, no, that's... I can hear that. I absolutely can hear that in their voice. That's a very good point. It's a good similarity. Finished arranging word. Nice. Thank you so much, everyone, for your company this evening. I'm just going to pop out of Fallout now after I save the game. And I'm just going to see if we can find some folks. See if we can find anyone who might be streaming that we can raid into. I'll have a quick look over on the Twitches. Bear with me for just a moment. Who's up? Who's up and around? Following. Let's have a look at the people that I'm following. Is anyone actually up? It is late at night. It's awfully late. Let's see if we can find someone to jump into. Well, that's not super helpful. Oh, no wonder. Oh wow. Lupo Talupo's hosting me. That's super kind of him. I did not even spot that. Alright, let's go have a look for Fallout. There's probably like a super... There's probably a super streamlined way of doing this, but I've never been able to figure out what that is. Being able to find folks for raids. It is indeed past midnight. It is indeed. Wow, I'm one of 2 people playing Fallout 2. Keeping the faith. Keeping it alive, folks. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's pop a raid in on... Out of everyone It's telling me at the moment, like in terms of people who are live, the old Dark Raccoon is live. So we might, I think that's like as good as it gets. We might go. So Dark Raccoon is someone who is based in the Gold Coast in Brisbane. Who, yeah, it is a little bit harder. Dark Raccoon's a pretty awesome gent who's based on the Gold Coast in Brisbane. I've raided a few times. Not because he needs the peoples, but he's always around and doing horror stuff. And he's got a pretty comparable amount of people over on his stream at the moment while he's playing Dying Light. So let's pop over there. As always, there is absolutely no onus to jump on the raid. Before I do shut up shop. Oh, I almost forgot. I've got to answer my own question. Best thing that happened to me this week. I kind of got into this before when I was talking about sort of garbage and reconnecting with that music, but it's been, and I'm not going to tear up saying this. I'm not. It's been a big week for me, fam. Like I've had a lot of challenging conversations, but in a good way, that have allowed me to start picking up some pieces of myself that I'm going to have to talk in vagaries here to some degree, but it's allowed me to pick up pieces of myself that I had shelved or had put away and told myself were either not viable or just wouldn't work or were unreasonable for a very long time. And I'm at a point now where like I can see that there's a lot of work ahead in the work that I need to do in talking to people and honoring the commitments that I have to them, but it's an exciting time at the same time, daunting and exciting for what's next for me from a life perspective. Like no big changes, not in the sense of tearing everything down and building back up from there, but it's building on the foundation that I have and moving forward. And again, like I know that I'm talking in vagaries, but that's definitely been the best thing that's happened to me this week. It's been like I feel like my heart has grown 2 sizes this week, and it's been overwhelming, like at points. And on top of all of that, like there's been a stream of work coming in the door from people who I have really good relationships with from a professional perspective. And when that happens as a freelancer, and you might get this, CapDaf, and also like Busty Booker, we were talking, like you mentioned that you do a lot of freelancing as well, so you might be familiar with this feeling if you're still around with us. But like when that work comes in and it's unsolicited, like it's not just that it's money coming in the door, and that's nice. Like there's a lot of the time it can feel overwhelming because it's in a way, like without wanting to sound overwrought, it's love as well. Like it's a form of emotional connection, and that's part of why I do what I do from a voice acting perspective, because I'm invested, and that means the bad things and that means the good things. It means days of thinking, what am I doing? Should I even be here? Like who am I to be doing this? Like nothing's working the way I absolutely want it to do. And then it's the elation when everything's working really well. So yeah, it's like that's, again, it's in vague terms, but that's been the best thing that's happened to me this week. And close second is being able to spend Friday night with you all. So thank you so much for a wonderful evening. I'm going to start the raid now to head over to Dark Raccoon. As always, there is no onus to jump over there. But if you were looking to watch some more streams, even though the hour does grow late, he will look after you well. Right, Dark Raccoon. Now, when we jump in there, hang on a minute. If you do want to come along for the journey, pop a message into chat when we get there saying the fleet is here. Thank you so much for listening to me blurble in vagaries about everything that's happening in my neck of the woods, and Skirt just breaking down. Not because I'm sad, but just overwhelmed. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you for a wonderful night. The raid begins.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out some of our other videos, and for live content, come join me on Twitch.